What's up, everybody? And we're back again, still here, John Scott. And I'm really pleased to say, for the first time on this podcast, in our presence, really happy to have Jess on. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fine. We said off air that our day's gone quite, I guess, a little bit hectic. A lot of stuff going on, but it's gone fast as well. But I'm good other than that. And for those people that are maybe not so familiar with some of your stuff, because obviously you've got channels out there, just give us a little bit of a brief background about what you do and some of the great content that you have out there.
So I started YouTube about a year and 2 months ago.
Wow.
To be precise. Just kind of, talk about wrestling and kind of just giving either like a rant on something or a review or just anything really to do with wrestling. And then I started doing a podcast as well. Originally the YouTube channel was Jess Watches Wrestling. Yep. Then I had the podcast of Jess Talks Wrestling. And then I've been kind of going between the both since last year, really. And yes, I've kind of interviewed wrestlers, interviewed other podcasters, wrestling promotions, and then just kind of cracking on with like my YouTube content as well. But obviously at the minute it's a little bit hard with the YouTube content because there's not really that much going on.
No, we're all getting like pretty creative, I think. So you mentioned YouTube there, and like my listeners all know on this podcast, I'm very hit and miss with YouTube. Like sometimes I'm really all for the video stuff, and then other times I'm not. And I think my relationship with YouTube just hasn't been all that fantastic. But what has your relationship been like with YouTube?
Oh, do you know what? Like there was a time last year when I kind of had a little break from it. It is quite exhausting. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of effort that has to go into it. But I've picked it up quite a bit the last few months, and I'm kind of back to making 1-2 videos a week again. Right. Just trying to kind of build up my channel. And obviously I was meant to go to WrestleMania this year. I'll just cry in the corner. I was obviously gonna have a lot of content from WrestleMania. I was gonna do vlogs, everything, and I had this whole massive plan of interviews, everything, and it all just came crashing down.
Eesh, that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare.
Honestly, I had like press passes. I had so much. I was gutted.
No, that's the thing. I have a few friends that paid like the packages as well, and they've been telling me some horror stories that some of these people haven't got their stuff back because I think they probably bought it through third-party websites and stuff like that, and it's even harder to get your things back. I mean, have you been able to recoup?
I'm waiting for refunds on my flights. That's what I'm waiting for. They've offered like credits for.
Right, you don't want that.
I want money, please. I want my money back.
We paid it with
everything
money.
Else, all the wrestling stuff, all like the tickets, all that, I got my money back, and my hotel and things like that. So it was so disheartening. I was so depressed that I can't even explain.
I bet.
Whole week I was near enough in tears because I thought. It's my first time going as well. Get that. My first time going to WrestleMania. And this happens. Imagine my poor broken heart.
You mentioned your YouTube stuff as well. And like one of the things, when I watched your videos, you have got a hell of a lot more energy than I would have for those videos, I'm telling you. Like, because, people that don't know, like you will do reviews and previews for the WWE pay-per-views and AEW and stuff like that. Like, we used to, I mean, myself and my previous co-host Matt, we would like literally, we started this podcast like about 5 years ago, and literally we would do all the previews and then we'd do the reviews. But like I remember when you'd listen to us, our previews were so like full of energy. And then coming out the other side, it was like the complete opposite sometimes, because I think that's the thing with wrestling, and especially WWE, the anticipation and everything is so much. I mean, you just cannot escape it. And so when you're podcasting and you're previewing for your listeners and whatnot, you can't help but get like ramped up for it yourself. And by the time the show starts, you're kind of like, well, I've done this, I've done that. Now I've got to come out and review it. I've got to take notes. And it can be quite a draining process to find like bits and pieces out of it. But is that something that you enjoyed doing, or do you find it like challenging? Like, how's that come to be for you? Like, how's your learning process with like looking at a show and I guess trying to take both positives and negatives out of something?
Do you know what? Like, because if I'm honest, right, the reason I kind of like started it all anyway is because no one else will really listen to me about it.
Right. This is your way.
So, my friends, my family will not listen. They don't get it. They don't understand. So the only reason I kind of started it is to do, is to get excited, to get other people excited.
Sure.
And, it can be hard, like, especially if you have obviously seen some of my videos, you'll see who I do and don't like. And you can see my facial expressions and how I feel about them, because I don't hide it. I'm not very good at hiding it, but I think it is a lot. Like, obviously I write scripts for all of it.
Right.
So I don't go by it exactly, but I am, because otherwise I'll go in my own little world and I will just go on and on. I'll talk about so-and-so's hair or something. I'll just go on and on for hours. So I usually script it, but it can be hard to kind of keep that momentum. Like, I didn't even do anything for WrestleMania this year. Like, I didn't do any videos.
Right.
Because I had no motivation for it. I didn't even want to watch it this year. I forced myself this year.
I made the biggest mistake this year because it was about a time where I was working from home, so I had a lot more free time to do this stuff, and I decided to do 14 days out. I dropped a podcast every day doing like watch-alongs of old WrestleMania matches, and it was the worst decision I ever made, because you're watching all these like amazing arenas full of people, and then you turn on to like this year's WrestleMania with and then the first impressions is like Gronk and what's his name? They drove me mad. As soon as that came on, I was like, I've got to shut this down. I'm not going to enjoy it. It was like watching two 13-year-olds drinking beer for the first time or something. Like, the way they presented it was so obnoxious. I was like, I'm just not going to get into this. And I just couldn't get my head around it. I still can't get my head around that they did WrestleMania like that. I for some reason I thought that they would still do an event, but they may just retitle it, like call it Super Show, whatever, and maybe do it as a dedication thing to what was going on. And
of course not.
No, and just take like 80% of the matches that were going to happen and just put them on, apart from maybe Drew and Charlotte because they won the Rumble. But no, they went ahead with it, and it was a very odd experience, one that I won't forget. I'm not sure all for the good reasons, but
some of the matches obviously were really good. There were some, really there weren't that many amazing ones, but I felt so sorry for people, like people like Drew and people like Rhea Ripley, and that was their moment. And they should have come out to thousands of people, and they came out to like Gronk. Imagine that. You've been training for years, and that's what you come out to.
And the match, the match I was like most looking forward to before all this COVID came around. The match I was looking forward to was Randy and Edge. And that match was so long, damn, and the commentating for it was awful as well. It was just, there were so many bits that got to me. I was just like, when is this going to end? It was like torture, and I felt so bad for both of them because I know they put in so much work, but the way it was produced, the commentators were like, they were like whispering through the match for some reason, as if they needed to be quiet. And only for the end, when Edge finally gets the win, the ring announcer at the top of his lungs announces the winner after all that. But yeah, it was a hard watch for me.
The whole thing, heavy breathing, And it did drag on. I just thought, because I was so excited about it, because I thought, oh my god, like, this is going to be huge. Obviously, because I was going to be there, I thought this is going to be huge. Like, and obviously with the whole John Cena situation as well, like, that was going to be probably like the best night of my life. And it ended up not really being the best night of my life. It ended up being really quite sad.
But of course, the Boneyard match come out, everyone went mad about that, and the Firefly fight.
I liked that.
I was kind of thinking to myself, I wonder if the Boneyard concept would have been the same had WrestleMania have gone on in front of thousands. I can't imagine it would have done.
We would have had another,
because fans would have just booed for it in the stadium. They would have just booed through the whole thing.
Just be on a screen.
which is my argument, because I know everyone keeps saying this is the way wrestling's going to go, but it won't be. Like, you can't expect a live audience to sit and watch something they could have just sat at home for.
Exactly.
A load of money on tickets. So, I mean, they could have done the Firefly Funhouse kind of how they did it. It would have had to have been quite quick with some of the stuff, but I think they might have been able to do some of that stuff. But
I feel like if they did that, it would have more felt like, when you go on holiday to like a resort and they put on a show and they do these quick costume changes and come out. That's how I feel like it would have been, like an all-inclusive in Greece, and like the children's entertainers
played by the same two people for the whole thing. I've been to wrestling shows like that back in the day when UK wrestling wasn't quite at its top-notch self. I went to this show, and it was back in a time where you didn't really know, like, you'd see the poster, but you never really knew what you was going to get until you got there. And I arrived, and I wasn't doing press or anything. I was just going along as a fan because it was quite local to me. And I went in there, and there wasn't even a ring. There was a crash mat with 4 broomsticks as turnbuckles, and like two ropes that went round the whole thing, not 3 but 2, and then the whole night was played by 3 wrestlers in total, doing 5 matches with different masks on.
Hats off to them, though. Hats off to them. That is
it's dedication, but different times back then, I tell you. But that's what it would have been like. Now, for you, like, UK wrestling, do you have much? Do you watch UK wrestling stuff? Are you familiar with it, or are you?
I do watch it. Yeah, I do keep up to date with it all. And then obviously when I do get to go to things, I do.
And I know, like, you're down my neck of the woods in Essex as well. Like, it's quite a lot going on down here, like, in terms of wrestling, I think. With stuff like WrestleForce, and there's DKW around, and DNA as well. Like, we're kind of lucky to have something. There's a lot of wrestlers as well that I've realised only since this lockdown that only live up the road from me and stuff like that, which I never knew. Like, the other day I saw what's his name, William Eva, who's been on like a mad run of late, and he's been posting all these videos, and I'm like, that looks familiar. That looks like the bottom of my road.
Imagine.
And it is. It's literally 2 minutes, like, up my road. He's been living there all this time. I've never known, because I've only ever done my interviews with him in places like Ipswich and London, thinking that's the only opportunity I've got, when I could have just pretty much and had a cup of tea.
If you wanted a tea.
Exactly. So what a crazy thing that is. Now, as well as that, like, what other stuff are you kind of into as well, like, outside of wrestling? Is anything, like, are you a film person? Are you a TV show person?
I'm terrible. I am a binger. I binge every program, every film possible. Like, not going to work, like, the last 6 weeks, I have completely just destroyed Netflix. Destroyed it. I watch so much, like, so much TV. Any series I love. I just finished that Dead to Me season 2. That's really good.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, that's really good.
I haven't seen that.
I honestly, like, and I do watch a lot of YouTube as well, though. I do watch a lot of YouTubers.